Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming. Without us, they'd never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So just a brief disclaimer, if you hear any type of baby sounds or cooing and cawing, that's because I'm doing this with my almost one-year-old. No, you don't get to play with that. Almost one-year-old daughter in my lap, sitting at my desk with the computer so I can get this done. So we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania, and if you're in the area, do me a favor, let us know. We're playing up in actually Phoenixville currently, over at Gamers Haven, Haven, and definitely reach out to us. I travel throughout Pennsylvania, Maryland, and DC area, and if you're not in our area, always try to get a game in with you. And that's it. So we're going to be doing this on the quicker side because my hands are full. Right there? Yep. All right. So my group, being Dan, Chris, Ryan, myself, went down to Williamsburg, Virginia, to Colonial Carnage. So this is now game 2. We had a great showing against CGL Team 1 with Phil's B group. And now, unfortunately, that put us in the top tier, which I did not want to be up against, at least not this early. As my 2-year-old gives, or my almost 1-year-old gives me the raspberry, puts us up against the Brave Companions, which is a lot of Team USA, ETC team. So again, Pretty Boy Ryan's is our captain, and he's turning around and saying, "Okay, here's your matchups." I get matched up with Saurian Ancients. The gentleman who I played, his name is Joe. Very, very, very good player. And bless you. He's got a lot of Cameleons, and I'm gonna try putting the army lists in the descriptions. No, do not pull on that. Thank you, dear. Thank you, sweet pea. So anyway, so that's it. And meanwhile, we turn around and we got a lot of the matchups that we wanted. But as I said, I mean the players there are just really good players. We had some bad luck, such as the Green Knight holding up Ryan and just sticking Ryan, even though he like flanked it and hit it, but it was stubborn 9, and with X now attacks, he just couldn't do total of 3 wounds to it. And all I can say is these things happen. So here is the board for our game. The game that you see there in the distance, that actually is Joel F with his Equitane list versus Ryan with his Ogre list, and Ryan was my teammate. And you can see where he had his. This is after we both dropped. He ended up getting first turn. He moved up as such. That's a farce there in the middle. He's got 2 bricks of Saurian Warriors. He's got the Cautl, which is that orange-looking thing. 2 monsters with the Toxic Breath weapons. He's got 2 units tonight. So he's got a lot of things that can turn around and just negate my armor. A lot of things that are going to be AP3 and just flat out just negate my armor. With that said, he's got 2 units of Cameleons. He's got 2 units of other things that with javelins, with poison javelins. So whatever skink braves, I think they're called. Oop! Did she just change the picture on me? Yep. So over here, I try and remember. Sorry, my daughter keeps hitting the computer screen here. Okay, you chew on. Yeah, you chew on Daddy's finger. So anyway, so he turns around. He does some shooting, and he did a couple wounds to my scorpion there. And hi, sweet pea. And that was basically it. He killed like 1 or 2 of my peasants, and that's the way the board looks. So now it's my turn, and I've got a long charge with the questing knights into the spitter there in the middle, and then he's got his knights right behind his monsters that he's hiding because of the scorpions behind the hill. So I'm not worried about those being able to see me to countercharge me. And then he's got the other braves there, and that's basically it. So what I turn around and I do is I declare a charge. It's like I need a 10. Stop. Thank you. And I made it. I didn't see a reason why not to declare the charge because he didn't have anything there to counter me. It was still going to have me facing the right direction. And because I have such a huge amount of speed, not worried about it. Meanwhile, my peasants turn around. They declare that charge into the Cameleons. Again, not worried about it. I put stone skin up on them. And of course, I got Oaken thrown off before I got the other spell off as well. I had to declare the charge with my Knight Aspirants because I did fail my leadership test. And so I forget where I was. I had to pause it and handed the baby off to my wife. So anyway, I was forced to charge there because I failed my leadership test, which was unfortunate, but there are worse things. And that's it. So over there, I'm trying to remember what happened to the other one, but basically I blew up that first one, and I overrun into his knights. Over there, I kill all but one, and it's just in the forest, so it's stubborn. I have to double check that rule because I thought they took that away from light troops, but I think it might be just with skirmishers. So I'm gonna have to turn around and follow up with that. So, but even still, I didn't care. From here, it looks like a frontal charge, but I think we declared that as a flank in the game. So there's the overrun into that. Easily blew them up and overrun there. And that's it. Why do I have this picture here? Again, I have some spell up on them. He declares charges. So now it's turn 2. I've got 1 die left. He declares a charge into what ends up, we calling that a flank with his Saurus warriors. And he charges the Knight Aspirant on the far side with his other unit of cavalry. He marches up his monster and does his breath attack. And he does quite a few wounds to me. However, because he rolled high, but when I turned around and did my saves, I rolled 4 6s and a 5. During his shooting phase, he finally kills my one Scorpion. So during close combat, he only managed to kill 2, but I did 1. But he still had the flank, the charge, the big flank, 2 ranks. So he's already +4, and I'm only sitting at 3 or 4. So they end up breaking there, but I'm not overly concerned with that. I kill 2 or 3 of the knights there, but I choose not to pursue. Instead, I do a reform, and this is now how the board looks. So unfortunately, he was expecting to do more damage than what he actually did. So I went ahead and declared a charge. I declared quite a few charges. I declared a charge with my Knights of Forlorn into his one monster, and he fled with that one green monster there in the board. Okay, so I turn around, I redirect into his character there on the outside of my Knights of the Quest. With the Knights of the Realm, I declare a charge against the Saurus warriors that are in the forest, so they're not going to be stubborn, or they can't be steadfast while the majority of the footprints in the forest. Okay, I have all the impact hits and everything else. He chooses to flee there. Okay, so I go ahead and I think I did another redirect after that, and I think I may have gone towards his Cautl Lord or something along those lines. Meanwhile, my Knights of the Quest did declare a charge on the Cautl Lord, causing that to flee, and then redirected into his other unit of infantry, and that fled. So it's like everything in his army just fled. And one monster ended up fleeing off the board. That's how everything looks at this point in time. I go ahead, I move up this way. He he starts trying to chaff me up. I go ahead and make some rally tests. My peasants and the yeomen actually rally, and that's it. His knights rally on his turn, and that thing, the Salamander goes ahead and is still fleeing, but I think it does rally this turn. Over here, he rallies everything, and he's just chaffing me up. He's doing the chaff up game. So at this point in time, I go ahead, I declare the charge, I kill the chaff. I have the Knights of the Quest, Knights of Forlorn, going to go backtrack to go contest the one objective over there, and hopefully take out some knights. And yep. He actually turns around, manages to kill another 2 knights. He just picks them up. That may have been dangerous terrain test. Oh no, I think stand shoot and his magic killed 2 of those knights. I declare a charge and I make it into the 1 monster because I get an extra +2 inches. So overly not scared. And meanwhile, I put on a couple buffs onto that unit, being 4 up regen as well as T6. So Stone Skin and Healing Waters is now up on that unit. And that's that. So over there, there's another. I'm sorry, Breath of the Lady and Summer's Growth. That's what I did to that unit. So I turn around and got more knights back, and I'm rerolling my 1s with that unit. He just goes ahead and picks them up, and I kill the monster and then do an overrun. So I'm not worried about him getting his Cautl Lord into my flank at this point in time. The question is he going to be able to do enough wounds to me? Because I am charging unit of spears. That's going to be AP 3, and I only have a 5-up ward save, or it'd be a 5-up, 5-up. He's got a nasty little character in there. However, I don't think he has unit champions in his units for whatever reason. You'd have to go through the army description. He charges my mounted yeoman, which I'm okay with. And that's basically how the board looks. I'm trying to turn around and get everything all fully set up at this point in time. So yep. So there's that charge. He's still picking off with magic and his Salamander. He's picking off Knights of Forlorn, and that's how this now looks. I blow up. So hold on. So I blow up that 1 unit. I chose not to overrun into his other unit. Instead, I charged into his Cautl Lord. And the Cautl, I expected to be able to kill it. And I just rolled absolutely dismal. And he made his leadership stubborn check. So it's like, okay, that's the way it is. To double check one thing. But so he ends up making that stubborn check. And he charges into the flank of my units of Knights of the Quest. The issue is because he's charging me, he doesn't have the additional AP or agility at this point in time. Agility, who cares? I'm using great weapons. But he let off Stone Skin because he wasn't expecting to actually be able to get that charge off. So now they're T6. So he's wounding me on 6s only. And there's that. Again, the Scorpion is trying to do something, trying to get the Knights of the Forlorn in there, and because he's faster than me, he's dancing. He only kills 2 with his Salamander. And over here, I finally kill his Cautl Lord, and then I turn to face his 1 unit with my beat-up unit of Knights of the Quest. But as you can see, it's not. He definitely has a lot more attacks and things like that. So during my turn, because I finally cleared off all his chaff, was 1 at a time. And I've got the bust of the Knights of the Realm. But Knights of the Realm turn around, they get in. They're going to be able to start doing. Let's see. Yeah, I'd have 8 impact hits, at that point in time, just based off of that. And that just turns around, wipes out the unit. They did break. I didn't kill them all in close combat, but they broke. I pursue with the overrun and catch them, and with the Knights of the Quest. And this is basically how the board looks. So I kill the Salamander. He's got 2 units of his Scoring Knights contesting that one. I'm going to be contesting the other one. So end of the day, I have one objective. He has the other objective. I turn around. I'm going to be healing up the units of the Knights of the Quest during my magic phase. Just because, again, I still have Oaken Throne up, and between that, Summer Growth, and everything else, get myself back up to above minimum body count. And yeah, that's how the game is going to end. So pretty sure ends up being a 17-3. It's either 16-4 or 17-3. I'm pretty sure it's 17-3. For me, the MVP, Knights of the Quest, turn around, getting that charge off definitely was key and pivotal. When we go to this picture, for him, believe it or not, I'm actually going to say it was his. I don't know what their name is, but his cavalry, because they turned around, went to the board edge, they rallied, and then because of that, they were able to turn around and claim that objective. Same with his Salamander coming back, so it was one of those two. But because of that, he was able to claim that objective instead of us contesting it. His Salamander actually may get it as well, because that caused my Peasants to turn around and fail their panic test, and they broke and they fled. So that prevented me from having 2 units, because then I would have had the objective as well. Overall, it was a very interesting game. And he had a lot of tools, like he was fielding Alchemy and things like that. So he definitely had a lot of the tools to turn around and deal with my army. As I showed you, I had one great luck where I had rolled 3 6s or 4 6s and a 5 on one of those dice rolls. So I definitely had Lady Luck on my side for part of the game. And it was just interesting to see him turn around and break and flee. And it really all came down to that initial charge from the Knights of the Quest into the spike monster artillery, and that just kind of set the tone, because that allowed me to turn around, get the flank, take one of his heavy hitters out, and meanwhile he didn't have his monsters set up for the counters. So that's it. Any questions or concerns, definitely feel free to post or reach out to me. And until next time, happy gaming.